Hey there everyone, we're back down here at the Mustang again to continue working on it. So I thought before we get too far into it, we kind of update where we are as a whole. We've got the engine running, as you've seen several times. We've managed to free up all four wheels, so they now spin. Let me get back out here in the light. So that's a positive step. We've got the brakes basically done. What we've got left and what I'm going to tackle today is getting the brake lines on the front finished, then hopefully adjusting all of the wheels so we get the brake shoes pushed out the way they're supposed to be. And then hopefully if we get done with all that, then maybe we'll be able to bleed the lines too. So I have to get some help on that one. But anyway, we're going to get cranking on this, see what we can make happen. Also, let's go ahead and review. Let's see here if I can switch my camera. Okay, so also we forgot to mention that we have, cleaned up the interior. So it's a lot better than it was when we first started this. It's certainly not perfect, but it is much better. Got our battery on, so we have power. So you can see down here, maybe get the light down so we can see down in here better. Get the light to come around. There we go. Okay, so up in there you can see we got the new metal brake line run, and maybe you can see we've got a new rubber line ran, so that's good. Of course, did everything in there, new wheel cylinder and all that. And then what we're going to be working on are one of our first problems. Let's see if I can get you down in here. You can see it. Yeah, so right there is a proportioning valve. And I'm trying to get that metal line into it. It's not wanting to go, so that's problematic. Then kind of coming over here to the passenger side. Let's see if I can get into it. So over here on this passenger side, you can see there's a coupling with the metal brake lines connect, and then that brake line goes down into the shock tower, which then, oops, my light down and around, get my hand out of the way, comes down up through, let's see if I can get this in, up through there, which then goes eventually into that rubber brake line that is hanging loose right there. So that's what we have to get done today, finishing that up and then bleeding the lines out. And if we can get all that done, we might be very close to actually seeing if this thing will actually move under its own power. So I'm very excited about that. So anyway, as I mentioned before, I found a transmission leak underneath that I'm going to have to deal with. So we'll take care of that. But it's not a big leak. It shouldn't stop us from at least test driving the thing. But anyway, I'm going to get started. I'll keep y'all posted. Okay, if you can't hear what's in the background, try it this way, you don't know what you're missing. That's Rush, my favorite band. And I loved cruising in this car, listening to Rush. So, sorry, doing some last things. I'll tell you a wrap up later, but I just had to get that. Goodbye. There we go. Okay, so we're back for day 2 at the Mustang. We made some good progress yesterday. Got the front brakes all buttoned up, I think. At least they stop, you spin the wheels, hit the brake pedal, the front wheels stop. Our issue is now the rear brakes. I can't get them to bleed. So, don't know what we're going to do about that. Okay, where were we? Sorry, I got a call from my wife that I had to take as I'm down here. So, anyway, we got, I said the front brake lines all care, the brakes work there. Even tested the transmission. I put it in gear. The rear wheels went in the right direction. You put it in reverse, they went in reverse. You put it in forward or in drive, they went forward. So, went for a friend to get here so we can troubleshoot the rear brakes and figure out what's wrong with them, why they won't bleed. This is apparently not an unusual occurrence with these cars from what I've been able to research via Google. But like everything else, the answer is it depends. Try this and try this and try this. So we got a bunch of things we need to try, but until he gets here, I think I'm going to try to clean the car. So that's what we'll get doing. I'm going to try to, now that I know the transmission works, back it out into the driveway. We can actually get some water on it and stuff. So anyway, keep y'all posted. Okay, as you can see here, we got the Mustang moved out of the garage. Actually did it under her own power. Transmission seemed to work fine. Got her out and got her cleaned up for the first time in 22 years. Got all that algae and mildew and stuff out and really gave the inside a good cleaning as well, since I got a little allergic reaction when I was doing the rock out to rush after beating the carpet and all that stuff getting in the air. So got all that done, and then had my friend Charles come over to help me bleed the rear brake lines along with his son Brody, and we got all that taken care of. So now we're going to pick up where we, well, with what we found on the rear brake lines. Hello everyone, we're back out at the Mustang again, trying to get these brakes fixed. So last time we were trying to tinker with it, I discovered that the rear brake lines, the lines that run along the rear axle, are shot. That actually, trying to bleed them and knocking some crud off of them, found out there was one that was just cracked and then disintegrated as we tried to take it off. So I've got new brake lines to install, the ones that run across the rear axle, the soft line that connects from the rear axle up to the hard line that runs all the way up to the master cylinder. I've actually got a new one of those as well. So I'm going to try to get that on. If we get that on and we get the car to stop, we should be pretty good, because as you can now see, no Mustang in the garage. Mustang is actually out here on the driveway. So she moves. The transmission is working. It is leaking. I'm not sure exactly where it's leaking from yet, but we'll figure that one out. I do have a new filter and gasket I can put on to see if that's it. But as you can see, I said we got the Mustang out here. So today we're gonna jack the back end up here, get the wheels off, and replace the brake lines that are running along to either wheel on the back axle here, and then the soft line that comes up to somewhere about in here, and then connects to a hard line that runs down the length of the car, comes back up to the master cylinder that is, you know, right about there on the firewall. So we're going to get that hopefully done today, and then maybe, just maybe, if we can get the car stopping, I actually take it on a little test drive around the neighborhood. Maybe. So anyway, just there we go. We're making progress. So anyway, we'll see how it goes on the rear axle. Okay folks, I thought I'd tell you what we got to work with here, so you can see right there, that's where that line just disintegrated as we were trying to disconnect it from that block, which is part of this rubber line that goes up into that hard line. Let's see if I can back it. There you go. Then that hard line runs down under the car up to the engine bay where the master cylinder is. And then over there, let's see, you can see it. There's that other line that comes across the back side of the axle. It's the one that's broken. And then we've got this one that runs, the short one from here to there. So we're not sure. Charles Kelly was helping with this the other weekend. What we kind of think happened is that this line here cracked enough to let moisture in. and it got into this valve, which is what sends the brake fluid to either wheel cylinder on there. And if that's the case, then it might have rusted that valve off. So that is one piece. It like I said, that one piece we got to replace. So I've got a new line for this, a new line for that. Got this new line, and then I have this whole line here if I can't get that disconnected, which I got to figure out how that comes out of that bracket. I assume there's a clip like front ones, but I don't know. Anyway, get this figured out here and get things going. I think I'm going to disconnect the passenger side first and work it. Now, since I have replacement lines, I don't have to get all of it. Just disconnect. I just got to get it out of there. There's several clips. They're in here. Like, I think there's a clip right there that holds this thing on. This thing is mounted on with this bolt here that's covered up in crap. So we're going to clean things up and see what I can get done. Also going to hit some of this stuff with penetrating oil, see if that helps. So anyway, we're going to get on it. Okay, so we've made progress. We've got the brake lines off the rear axle. I cleaned up the housing there a little bit for the rear gears. So now I've got to disconnect this thing here. I cut the metal line. It was rounded off. Somebody definitely did a previous brake job on this thing, because all of these hardline fittings are rounded off. So somebody torqued the bejesus out of them for some stupid reason. And then a bunch of these clips. So you can see back there, here's a clip, and let's see, right there. There we go. There's a clip. Okay, well, the brake line that was running from that little control valve thing here back along into the wheel cylinder there is supposed to route through that clip. At least I think it is. It wasn't. So I think somebody definitely did at least a partial brake job and did half-assed when they put it back together. So, but I got the rear axle cleaned up. I think I definitely got some leaks on it. Looks like around the universal joint there has some leaks going on, and I don't know. So definitely ought to be looking at that very soon before we get too far with it. But anyway, have made progress. Now we'll tackle this and start working on that line that runs towards the front of the car. Oh, one other thing. So the bracket that was here that tied to, well, basically, where'd it go? It was this thing right here, right? This bracket was right there. It was held on by this weird stud here. See if I can get it in here. It went in, and I don't know if that's supposed to have a hose attached to it or not, or what that's supposed to be. So interesting. It looks like it could have had a hose on it at one point that somebody rounded off or did. Anyway, looks like a vent for the rear axle or something. I don't know. You got me. Maybe it's supposed to put, I don't know what it is. So anyway, we'll figure that out later too. So we've made progress. We've got the new brake line on the rear axle installed all the way across. Got the new soft line installed here. So hopefully that will go well and won't leak. Now, one thing is I found was interesting, I think I may mention, is that this here that holds the bracket on, that holds that, is some sort of vent. I don't know what it's for. I don't know if it's supposed to be connected. I did find a rubber tube right there. I don't know where it goes. I don't know if that's supposed to be continued and connect to there. I don't really know what that's for. So I'll do some research on that. But I got to get there's a clip over there that holds the line to the axle. I need to get it in place, but then I'm going to start on the line that runs the length of the car. So that should be fun. I'm not sure where all it goes and what kind of spiders I'll find up under there. But anyway, we got at least a good chunk of it done. I definitely say that the lines I pulled off of it back here, as you can see, are definitely rusty toast. And they're not, I don't think they're original because they don't match the reproduction bent lines I got at all. I think somebody definitely put in and hand bent lines and made their own here. But anyway, we'll see. We're gonna get back at it, get that other one done. Also cleaned up a bunch of goop off of the differential. A bunch of crap that was all over it. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to get a new universal joint. I think the seal on there is probably shot too, which means if I really drive this hard, I need to check the fluid in the differential. I need to change it anyway, but anyway, one thing at a time. So now to get on that other line. Okay guys, so I'm tracing the brake line. You can see it right there. It runs up here under where the exhaust pipe is, between the exhaust pipe and the drive shaft, along the tunnel with the fuel line. So they're connected with these various little clips here along the way. There's another clip, goes up that way. So I'll start getting that pulled out all the way up to there. Also got the emergency brake line cables in here, which the emergency brake is not, seems to be frozen, so I got to figure that one out too. Okay, so figure out how to undo these clips. I think I can just pry them apart. Worried about the fuel line. It's old too. I don't want to puncture it, obviously. And anyway, we'll see how this goes. Okay, several hours later, we have got the brake lines run. So you can see all of them, they're now connected. See if I can get in here and show you the proportioning valve there. Yep, we got them all in there. Haven't got the proportioning valve connected back to the wall there, but all new brake lines. Got to reconnect the brake sensor there. But all of those are run. I now need to go under the car, make sure that we've got them all out of the way of the drive shaft and all that to get the clips back in place. And then bleed the lines, and hopefully we will have brakes. So I'm gonna get all that done and then start bleeding the lines. And then maybe we can go on a ride. That would be cool. More than just in and out of the driveway, or up and down the driveway. So anyway, back at it. This has taken much longer than I expected. Okay folks, so we did get all the lines connected and the brakes bled out. It was really dark when we got it done, so I didn't shoot any video because I didn't have a flash or light to shoot it with. So sorry you didn't get to see that, and also did take it for a little test drive around the neighborhood. Brakes did reasonably well. They're still a little mushy, so I probably still need to bleed them a little bit. Transmission shifted, got up into second gear, so it did that really well. I had forgotten how hard that non-power steering is when you're not moving to turn that wheel, but we got it all done. I promise next time I go out there, which is going to be a little while, that I'll shoot a video of the car actually in motion and moving down the road a little bit. I should hopefully have a tag by then and have it all registered, so it'll be great. So look forward to seeing y'all in the next video.